you from?
I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, and raised in Côte d'Ivoire, or Ivory Coast, West Africa.
Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
Okay, Côte d'Ivoire. Okay, so that is a country that was colonized by the
French.
Okay, so colonization is a topic that many people are talking about as pertains to the Queen. So as somebody who descends from a country that was colonized for quite some time by European powers, is there any type of ideological alignment you have, given your relationship with France, as pertains to the history of the monarchy and Queen Elizabeth and her position in the monarchy? Does that have any more significance to you than the average person because of your history?
No, not at all. First of all, we were not colonized by the British, so I have no ties to them. And being somebody who lived in a country that was colonized and a country that's still being used by Europeans, I have no, how do I say this? No attachment with the French whatsoever. As for what I could say, I believe that we've been under their rule for such a long time that it's time for us to learn how to be on our own and depend on ourselves. We also need to not look at the white people as the savior, because we have all it takes to become the best that we can, and we have done so before colonization. It's just that a lot of history has been disrupted, and we have to try to go back to it.
Is Côte d'Ivoire still a colony of France?
It's not a colony of France, but
Another 4 years.
all of these countries are still under somewhat French rule.
So it's kind of de facto colonization.
Yes, it's like they give you independence, but is it real independence if your money is not printed in the country but it's printed in France? You know what I mean? If we don't own the money, then are we really free? You know what I'm saying? So it's little things like that shows you that you're not really free. They just give it to you. At the end of the day, they can still come in and get the resources that they want because they print the money and they give it to you. So they're not really buying it. They're just giving you something to live off.
Yes. Her soul rest in peace. She will be missed, and I think she was a great woman.
Do you think that her legacy will live on in a positive manner?
Yes, I think so.
And I hear that Prince Charles now becomes King Charles. Does he have large shoes to fill, or will he take his own route?
He has a large shoes to fill, and I hope he takes the right route. That's what I can say. I don't know about Charles. That's all I can say about that.
I'd say that the death of anybody is sad and unfortunate. 70 years is a long time to reign, so rest in peace to the Queen.
Did the life of the Queen have any significance to you?
Living in the Western states as an African American woman, no.
Do you think that better home therapy, like occupational therapy, may have prolonged her life?
It depends what her diagnosis was. I don't have much information, but occupational therapy can help many individuals. And it probably would.
And how do you know that? How are you so sure of that?
Well, again, I don't know what her diagnosis was. I don't know her cause of death.
Well, that was a leading question because I noticed you are a
occupational therapy student.
Okay, so no real significance. It's kind of like, yeah, we knew she was there, but nothing more exciting than that for you.
Right.
Would you watch the funeral? I think they're going to spend a lot of money to make that real, real pretty.
I bet they will, but no, I won't be watching.
Okay. Whose sneakers are these?
We don't. Oh, let's start by saying rest in peace. Anybody who's died, death is a horrible thing, but We're not really remorseful for her death. She's done a lot of poor things, as many people know. So we just hope that the people who she's inflicted the pain on, those countries, that they prosper now that she's not alive, actually. I was gonna say in office, but she's dead, so yeah. The African countries, all that colonialism, all the things that happened while she was alive and the things she implemented, we hope that they are reversed and that those countries see the wealth that they deserve, because they lived off of that money which she stole from them for a long time. So, you know.
Well, I just read this morning that the next power transition goes to King Charles.
Yeah.
So how does that fit into your hopes and dreams for the future?
I think that, you know, it's 2022, so a lot of the things that she did in the past with colonialism have already been disbanded. I don't know too much about the English government per se, but I'm pretty sure the king and the queen at this point are figurehead. I don't anticipate them overtaking any countries or stealing any more money and wealth from other countries. I don't think that King Charles will have the same impact which she had, because when she was really making the movements that she was making, it was a completely different time and era. I think with social media and things like we're doing right now, there's too much of a voice from the people that would allow things like that. So I don't think that Prince Charles, that's what he said?
It's King Charles.
Yeah, King Charlie, I don't think he's gonna have, you know, any real impact on the world in a negative way like she did.
I'm not sure you can refer to him as King Charlie. I think it must be King Charles.
Oh, he's not my king.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it doesn't
my
matter.
president is black. My Lambo is blue. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think he has any influence on me unless he's gonna come over here and do something to me. I don't know how, but yeah, whatever his name is, King Charles, whatever. I mean, shout out to him. I think it's cool. I wish we had a king. I would maybe run for king one day, but I think
That's
that's
not how that works.
I don't think it works that way.
That's not how it works.
yeah. We don't have a king here in America.
You know, let's hope for modernization. You know, the Commonwealth and all that. Like, hopefully, there's like a disbandment of that. Like more independence from the Commonwealth countries. So hopefully, like now, they can maybe see the wrongdoings of past decisions and situations, and possibly look back on it, and hopefully things can be better for a lot of African countries, Caribbean countries.
Yeah.
Ireland.
Is there anything good that you can say about the Queen's life, her position, or is everything for you a demerit?
She had a nice car. That's about it.
I don't know really. I feel like we are a little bit on the younger side to know anything. I mean, she was like what, 80 something when she died? 96.
I mean, she also had a family, so like condolences to them. Like she was at the end of the day, like yes, she's a queen, she's a figurehead, but she also was a grandma, a great grandma, and you know,
she was a person, and
Yeah,
death
she
is
was a
bad.
person,
We're not gonna
so-
like celebrate her dying, but at the same time, the life that she lived is not something that deserves to be celebrated. When you are in positions like that, you have the option to treat people well or treat people poorly, and she chose to do the latter. So yeah, I mean, we don't really care per se. We just hope that things get better in these countries which she had such a large effect on.
You all are students of
Howard University.
Dental school.
dental school. What do you think about the Queen's teeth? Did you ever pay attention to her teeth?
Nah, but
Any
I
work
was
that
about to say
needed to be
something that'll probably get me in
done?
trouble.
Yeah, just
So
don't.
let me just stop.
No, but this is
Nah.
important, because if you are the world's most powerful woman, shouldn't your teeth be immaculate?
You would think so.
I mean, honestly, like I have
Oh,
not
her
looked
teeth
at her
were
teeth.
terrible.
I have not looked at her
They're
teeth
terrible.
per se,
Look at
but
zoom
I
into
will
them.
Oh, they're
say
terrible.
that
He looking
this has
at
nothing to do with the Queen per se, but like the UK does have
Oral healthcare.
no, they don't. They actually have better like health coverage than the United
Coverage,
States.
yeah, but oral-
So I'm gonna give the UK that, like
And
in terms of that.
I want to make this point that regardless of whether she's the queen or not, oral health is important. So whether you have a lot of money or whether you don't, it's important to take care of your teeth, because your oral cavity is one of the main ways that disease can be detected, and one of the leading ways that you can, allow diseases into your body. So money doesn't really make the queen or not. It doesn't matter. You should definitely take care of your oral health. So I don't know her personally. She was never one of my patients, but I hope that she was brushing and flossing twice daily.
thoughts?
Honestly, I feel pretty indifferent about it. I didn't really know a lot about the Queen, but I understand why people are celebrating her death. Like other people have mentioned, she did have a hand in colonialism. So I heard that in, I think it was like Northern Ireland, like right after the announcement came out, people were setting off fireworks. And that's just something that's kind of interesting to me, but you know, I mean, it's sad. Loss of life is sad, but at the same time, I don't really care.
And you know, it's important you say that because a lot of times people think, when they think of colonialism, they're thinking of Cecil Rhodes on the continent of Africa. But colonialism was more than just the continent of Africa. It was more than India.
Absolutely.
In terms of the British rule, Ireland, right? People don't think of Ireland.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's a good point. You had forced Irish subjugation under the British Crown, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so if you were to be asked to look at the positive with Queen Elizabeth, would you be able to overlook her involvement in a colonialist system, or would you say, no, I can't take the good without the bad?
I believe that everyone is both good and bad. Like, I don't think that anyone is entirely good or bad. I think I can always take the good with the bad, but at the same time, like, I would never put like my, you know, life or brand or whatever it is on advocating for the Queen or, you know, trying to defend her. It's just not something that I'm interested in, I guess.
So she really didn't have much significance in your day-to-day existence.
I wasn't really like the type of person to be like involved in what the royal family is doing or anything like that. That just never really mattered to me. But I get why it matters to like some Americans and especially like people in the UK, so it makes sense.
You know, as somebody born with Nigerian parents, I was born here. I'm a first generation, you know, Nigerian American. Honestly, I don't really care. You know, the Queen, I grew up, you know, seeing her in the media and stuff like that, of course, and putting her in a positive light, you know, but she had a hand in a lot of colonialism. You know, I did some research. I'm just starting to understand and know like the severity of how like, you know, bad of a person that she was. And she kind of came off, you know, as fake in the media, tried to paint her in a good light, which I don't like now. And I'm starting to really educate myself now more than ever than I was before, you know, growing up as a kid, as to how like, you know, wow, like she was really an enabler. I should say, I started seeing pictures of her with Adolf Hitler and I'm just like, what in the world, you know? So, and then also as well, even recent with Meghan Markle and what she had to deal with. Mind you, she doesn't really speak out as much, but you know, like, you know, as a black person, as someone that's, you know, in the royal family, you can tell she had to go through a lot of microaggressions, and that was due in large part to the Queen's hand as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't wish death upon nobody. I don't wish death upon my worst enemy, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is, you know? I mean, I guess rest in peace, but yeah. Yes, I'm a student at Howard University, College of Pharmacy.
College of Pharmacy, so you're going to be a pharmacist.
Yes, sir.
So if there was a medication you would use to surreptitiously drug the Queen, what medication would that be? Although it's a little late, but I'm just saying maybe a week ago, what medication would you have used?
What do you mean by that? Like,
you choose, your choice.
So,
drug could mean, you know, she's a little somnolent for an hour, or it could mean, you know, we hastened yesterday.
Oh man, I wouldn't want to necessarily use my clinical background, my pharmacy license to drug the Queen in any form, way, shape, or fashion. But yeah, you know, I don't wish death upon nobody. I wouldn't use any drug whatsoever. If I'm put in a position where I have to help someone, even if it's my worst enemy, I would do that. But yeah.
That's an excellent board answer.
Yes, well, obviously my deepest sympathies to her and her family, but when you really look at it, we have to look at how antiquated the monarchy is in Britain. The whole family has lived off the British taxpayer dollars for thousands of years and have never had to work or really do anything.
And would you say that the celebration of her life and now the attention in her death is warranted, given what you just stated?
I think she bridged a century for us. So while we see her from about 1920 to 2020, we see from 1920 all the antiquated colonialism. Britain still having these colonies as of today. I think we need to let go of that and start moving towards the future, granting countries independence and getting rid of the British Empire.
So you said something very interesting. You used the word we. So you said we need to move. But we are now in the nation's capital, the United States of America. This is a British organization and structure. So when you say we,
typically Britain would exploit people of color throughout Africa, South America, the Caribbean, and by we I mean people of African descent.
Okay. So you're talking about essentially race or
Yes.
ethnicity.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, not we as from a national standpoint of
Yes.
U.S. versus England. Okay, so are you able to share in the celebration of what good she may have done, or are you focused primarily on what you think was a demerit?
I think it's both. I think we could celebrate her life. She lived from, well, she went through all the major events in history, practically in modern history, living through World War II. She first met Winston Churchill when he was Prime Minister, up until the current Prime Minister now. So I would just again reiterate, she is the bridge between a whole century of history.
Will you watch the funeral?
I have to study for dental school, so I probably won't. But again, deepest respects to her family, and albeit if not everyone agrees, but she was a powerful lady, she was well known, and I think that's how people have to remember her.
The Queen represents decades and decades of hierarchy. Matter of fact, I haven't known any queen. She was queen before I was born. So I thought everybody's name was Queen Elizabeth. Little did I know. It's a really deep, that's a deep question. What do I think about the queen being dead? Well, that's the empire. She's the queen. The question more is, what do I think about England? What do I think about the history of British colonization? That's the real question.
Are you equating the Queen with colonization?
No, but it's part of her history. Because if you look at all the countries that CNN visited, with people placing their flowers and showing their respect, they were colonized countries. They went over to Africa. Just looking at CNN, that's just very interesting. But that's where the British reached out, so they have the most, they're most sensitized to her death.
So
Yes,
the Queen's dead,
I've heard.
and
Long live the king.
the King is about to live. But what are your thoughts on the Queen?
She had quite a run. I mean, 70 years is a big slice of history. I think that the whole prolongation of the monarchy is going to be questioned now that she's gone.
Why now? I mean, the prolongation of the monarchy really should have been questioned decades ago. Why do you think now it will be questioned as opposed to 30 years ago?
Because you had the continuity of her being there for the last 70 years, whereas now, in the more modern era, people are going to, I think, have a lot more questions as to, why Britain needs it other than for the tourist value.
Do they really make a lot of money in tourism because of the?
Oh yeah, a lot of people. I mean, English history is fascinating. I mean, I've been to the Tower of London, I've been to Hampton Court, I've been to Windsor Court, and I don't have any particular connection to it other than the love of history.
So, some people say that we shouldn't be celebrating the death of the Queen or celebrating her life because she represented a monarchy that made its wealth off the backs of people and countries and cultures that were suppressed or subjected to British rule and colonialism. And so when we talk about her death, should we take away a couple points because of British history? Or?
Well, I mean, you know, she's a person, so I mean, you know, every person's death deserves respect. As far as monarchies, all monarchies are descendants of terrorists, basically. I mean, you don't get to be king by coming in and having everybody decide collectively that, oh, I think you should be in charge. I mean, they're all monarchies are descendants of warlords.
That's an excellent point. So maybe that's something we should use to put this in perspective, which is that there's nothing unique about the British crown in terms of how it became what it is and its descendancy, as you state, from...
Well, here in America, our form of government was based on the British form of government because it was originally a crown colony. So we learned some lessons from it, some of which we seem to be backpedaling on. I mean, separation of church and state was instituted here because we saw what happened with British history, how you had Catholics murdering Protestants and Protestants murdering Catholics, depending who was in charge. And so these are one of the lessons that we learned, although we're, as I said, we're trying to slip on that.
Do you think that now we are hearing that King Charles will now be the head of the monarchy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that he is able to stop or suppress the questioning of the monarchy and its necessitation, or do you think that that's inevitable regardless of whoever is taking over?
I think it's probably inevitable.
Regardless. Okay. Will you watch the funeral on TV?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you won't set your TiVo?
No.
Yeah, okay. All right. So what do you think of the death of the Queen?
What's wrong with you, doctor? You're crazy.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, well, sorry to see her go, but she had a good run.
How does the Queen affect you? Or how did the Queen affect your life?
It didn't affect me at all. Not at all. It was just pure entertainment for me.
Oh, some people would say that that's insensitive, that you would say that the Queen of England was purely entertainment. What do you say to those critics?
That's a good point. It doesn't change the fact that it didn't affect my life at all. And the only time I watched anything to do with the royal family was when I wanted to be entertained. That's it.
Okay, so you won't be watching the funeral on TV?
No, it's just too sad for me.
She reigned for how many? 14 presidents here.
Okay, sounds like a lot.
Yeah, 14 presidents. That's how long she was in power there in England.
Even an African dictator doesn't last that long.
No, definitely not.
So what are your thoughts of that?
Um,
Of what significance is that to you, if any?
None. None.
Are you going to watch the funeral?
No.
Why not?
When is it? Today?
I think, I don't know, I'll look it up on Instagram, but I think they should put her in the hole soon, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Likely I won't be looking at it.
You'll be looking at it, all right. Do you watch the Kardashians?
No.
Okay, all right. So all reality TV stuff you don't really watch?
No, not at all.
So this don't mean much to you?
No.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
I don't really care.
Some may say that's insensitive.
She didn't do anything for me.
But
she's not my queen.
Well, whose queen is she?
England.
Oh. Well, why is she so important then? Why is she all over the news and why is everybody talking about it?
I don't know. It's all about money.
What do you mean by that?
It's all about money. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get Game of Thrones half the time either, so that makes it about the same.
Game of Thrones is extremely confusing.
Mhm.
There's a lot going on.
Mhm.
I'm season 2, I think now, and I struggle.
You're only on season 2.
Yeah,
You should be on the new show.
I'm struggling. Through it. It's just a lot.
That's how the Queen's family is to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why. Why do we even have kings and queens in this day and age?
Well, do you know anything about the history of kings and queens and?
A little bit, but still, in this day and age, you're just born into it. You can be a effing idiot.
Well, it's kind of like reality TV, is what you're saying.
Kind of, sort of.
You can be an idiot but still be famous.
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, okay, let's speak of what I do know about her. She's stolen from Africa. She enslaved us. She traded us. And then want to act like it's nothing. We still have it. Even the black people in her country are still being, you know, lack of a better word, treated like shit like we are here. You know, if not worse. You know, I hope her family and everything works out well, but she didn't treat Diana well, nor did she treat her grandson wife well, you know. So hopefully she didn't. I don't think she made it to heaven with her behavior.
Well, you said she enslaved us. Now she's 96, so it's 2022.
Are they getting equal pay over there?
I can't really speak to that. I don't know.
I don't believe so, though. With all the people that I've talked to that's from there, and most of them were Africans, okay, who fled to go to that country for a better way of living, are also in poverty like we are here.
But remember, the monarchy and all that king and queen stuff, it's not political. So they don't really run the country per se. So when it comes to like economics, and it's not like she's determining what the minimum wage would be or anything. She just kind of rides around in a chariot.
That's what she did in her later life, but not in her earlier life. No, she's not old enough to say slavery or anything like that. However, she still has the gold, the diamonds, and everything else that came from Africa that she sent her, you know, posse or thugs over to steal. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't give it back. And a lot of our ancient African heritage are in her museums, not in the country of Africa where they belong.
I think that we need to end this monarchy stuff. It's old. We need to come into modern times and just be new.
New, like what?
Just new. No king, queen. That I don't know if that's a place now. The king, queen stuff. I don't know.
But we don't have king or queen over here. That's over there.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, where else is there king and queen? There may be a few here and there, but I think that the king and queen stuff is kind of old.
Are you gonna watch the funeral on TV?
I may watch a snippet of it.
You might watch a snippet of it?
Yeah.
Do you feel bad that the queen is dead?
I feel bad when anybody dies because somebody's gonna be hurt by it.
That's true.
Somebody, yeah.
I haven't seen too much news coverage yet, but do you think the queen was good for the world or bad for the world?
If I have to go back into history, I'm gonna say not too good. Closer to now, not, it's still a lot of pomp and circumstance.
So not too good.
Back in the past, yeah. They were very colonial back then. So yeah, no, not back then. Now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I heard mention of it. I caught it on CNN, trailer at the bottom of the TV. I'm from the old school, and my mom always said, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. So unfortunately a death, but I don't have any feelings towards it either way.